Okay, I am joined by Steve Stutsman. That is the father of one Danny Stutsman, who's committed to Oklahoma's 2021 recruiting class at linebacker. But Steve, I want to talk to you because, well, one, you told me that Barry Switzer recruited you, and two, your kid is getting ready to come all the way up here to Norman from Florida. And first, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about your kiddo committing to OU?
Well, you know what, RJ? I mean, going through the process, which is totally different than what the kids are doing today. But I kind of give them some pointers that when a school feels right and the staff feels right, you're going to know it. I don't have to guide you. Nobody has to tell you. We were kind of blessed to go see a lot of schools before the pandemic and give them some views on things. And it just seemed that he said, "Dad, this feels right." And and when that happens, there's no sense in waiting. I told him if you feel it, then you commit. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I tell you what, I really couldn't be more happy. I'm really, really proud of him, and I know all about Oklahoma, and I surely got no problems with it at all.
Well, I thought for some time, like just from afar, that he was born to go to Baylor. Once I figured out who his dad was, and look, because once you told me that Switzer recruited you, I'm looking you up, and I remember tight end, wide receiver, but you also, you wouldn't have had to play with Keith Jackson. He would have been gone. You could have just shown up in '87.
What's that?
I said,
he was still there. Yes.
Well, I mean, but by the time you're a junior, senior, he's gone.
Yeah, you know what, RJ? So when I was coming out, of course there wasn't stars, but I was a parade All-American with there was a couple guys on that team. Was Junior Seau and Emmitt Smith on the same team, and so I was more like 6'4", 220, ran like a 4.58, 40 tight end, and more of a passing threat. And so, Oklahoma back then, they were options.
Right.
So Baylor had one of the Baylor All-American went to my high school. Named Thomas Everett.
Oh.
He kind of recruited me. Yeah, so he went to the same high school. He was 3 years or 4 years older than me. He kind of recruited me, and Baylor was running a pro style. And people buy from people, man. And he kind of got me in there, and I kind of fell in love with the staff, and just kind of went from there. But surely, I was recruited by Oklahoma. Enjoyed, talked to Switzer a lot. I had him at our house. Back then, it's probably a little different. I mean, coaches would go, to the recruit's house, call him on the phone after games. But it was a great experience by all means.
So I'm looking at those teams, and one of the things that I couldn't help but notice is that you seem to be sandwiched by the two teams that made bowl games. Like, they made a bowl game right before you got there, and they made a bowl game after you graduated. That 6-4-1 season also just jumped out to me because you tied number 25 Texas A&M 2020. Do you remember that game? Because I've been told about that game. Okay, all right. So you do remember that game?
I remember, man. They called. Matter of fact, they called we just punted. I don't know what happened. They called me for a personal foul. I pushed in the back on the play. So gave them. We had to re-punt. They ended up blocking the punt for touch, and tying the game. And so, yeah, I remember that game. We had that game won until that play, unfortunately. But yeah, we had some. We had a pretty good stout senior class. I think we were ranked number 5 at one point, and then we lost to Rice. It's give them props. But yeah, we had some good years there for sure.
What do you think is the major difference between you playing in the 80s and what you think your kid's going to walk into today?
Well, I'll tell you what, RJ, it's just the science behind everything. Back in the day, one program was fit all. I mean, if you're a DB or a lineman or a quarterback, you get the same weight training, the same. Well, I mean, you do the same things. And nowadays, with nutrition and custom-made workouts and things that are tailored for each position, it's just incredible. The differences that kids can make and be actually college ready to play where I don't think, even though I played as a freshman, I don't think I was really college ready. And I know it wasn't. And it's just hats off to, the progression of the sport and, the technology of today.
No, I talked with one of my friends here. His name's Jerry Ostrowski. His kid, Owen, is 6'2", 245, which, makes him bigger than Steve Rogers today. And I tease him because he came out in 88 too. And I said, your kid would have put you on your head coming into college. It's like, yeah, well, I'll put him on his head right now. How about that? And I'm thinking about, dads like yourself and what you're walking into. But with your kid in particular, I got him slated as an inside linebacker. Is that where the coaches, are we misconstruing this?
No, you got it right.
Okay.
You got it right. Inside linebacker, he'll go side to side. And that's one of the things that, people don't know who he is, but let me tell you, when he's going to get, he's already 6'3.5", 220, 222, and he'll probably, he ran a 4.67 at one of the Under Armours, but nobody knows that he got out, got his new shoes. They called his name, and he didn't get to stretch. He probably could have ran a. He's like he thought he ran like a 4.8, and and you only get one pop at those.
Mm-hmm.
And, we didn't chase a lot of camps. We're focusing on tape and going to certain camps, and that's kind of we didn't really focus on getting him out there. Except for Under Armour, and I felt that one and Nike is probably the two best ones. And he had some good numbers, man. He's a hustler, and his football IQ is off the charts. I was listening to Tay Lyman, who knows a little bit about being a linebacker at OU. To see that, and that's one of the things that not everybody would look at and say, hey, this kid plays let's say 2A in Florida. Well, unfortunately, 2A in Florida, man, isn't like anywhere else. We don't have district lines where you have to live in a certain area. If you got a car, you can go to any school you want. And these small private Christian schools, man, they get the athletes, and because they have scholarship programs, and it's pretty good football. Obviously, Danny could have went. We have a huge high school, about a mile from our house. One of the largest ones in the state, West Orange High School. I just felt with the coaches over there and the things, more one-on-one coaching be better for him.
Did he play other sports, or is it just football?
Yes,
okay.
Yes, yeah. He plays back. Believe it or not, he's a point guard, if you could believe that. The guy's got handles. His mom played basketball at Baylor. So she always wanted him to be a basketball player. So he was learning how to dribble when he was 4 or 5 years old. So he's a heck of a point guard, and he's tough to guard. Being his size.
Well, because that's one of the first things that I look at is what sports do they play? What sports? Because football seems to always be there because this is America, and yet I run into more football players by accident than anything else. Like here we have a guy his name is Dominique Franks. He went locally to school here, and he told me, Bob Stoops tells you he wants you to play defensive back. You're probably going to go play defensive back. Well, he plays for a few years in the league and then just decides to go to Europe, and he's starting on a European EuroLeague team as a point guard because that's the caliber of athlete that I guess we're just used to seeing over here. But no, that makes sense to me, especially when you put it in perspective for us that his mom played basketball at Baylor. She's got to be proud then because last 10 years been pretty good for Baylor women's basketball.
Oh yeah, no. She was actually one of her class was in where they play now, the Farrell Center, and watching that program, absolutely, she's proud for sure.
So what do you think about this scheme? Because I think that it's unique in that you got 3 down linemen running 1 gap, and I don't see anybody else doing that.
No, it's Coach Grinch and Oldham. It's when they said speed D, they weren't lying. I watched the film, I watched the tape of what they're about, and I tell you, it's exciting. It's really exciting. Looking at lengths, looking at quickness. Of course, you got some guys that can fill some gaps, take on some double teams, let some other guys make play. It's a good concept, And that's one thing. Everybody always knocks Big 12 football defense. Yeah, okay, all right, I get it, but that's not because it's lack of defense. There were some high-powered offenses in there, over the years. Make no mistake about it. I'll put Big 12 football up against anybody for sure. But yeah, really excited. One of the things, RJ, is we did our homework too. Another little known fact is Austin Stogner. His dad was my teammate at Baylor, tight ends. We're both tight ends on the same team at the same time. Austin's 2 years ahead of Danny, so I called him and we had a lot of chats, and I really respect him, and actually Austin's talked to Danny, but yeah, it's just all around good fit. Great. I really see good things happen. I mean, just like, it's exciting, to be honest.
Talking with Steve Stutsman, his father of 2021 linebacker Danny Stutsman. I got to wonder now, how many of y'all's former teammates just give y'all static for not sending Austin and Danny to Baylor?
Man, I go, I tell you what, yes, it's going to be, because, I have, matter of fact, one of my best men is at my wedding is on the staff, coach there. And, hey, great, Baylor's great, man. I love Baylor, and I got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears there. But, yeah, me and Stogner, we always try to go back every year for we had the Baylor football alumni golf tournament. And it's going to be a little different this year, on the next year coming up, we ever get back for sure. I can tell you that.
Nah, it's gonna be a little bit tense, but I love Dave Aranda, and I really enjoyed the staff that he put together with Fedora and George Munoz and keeping Coach McGuire.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be pretty decent here in a couple of years. I mean, more than decent. Probably gonna give Oklahoma the business. But I want to get back to Danny, and when did you know he could play? Because I can understand now how you feel pretty good about your chances, knowing what your athletic genes are like and what your wife's athletic genes are like. But when did you know he could play?
Well, RJ, so I've always been involved with my kids. I have a daughter, and blessed, played softball at FSU,
okay,
and they won the national championship in 2018. So I've always been involved with
Holy
my
crap.
kids.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait a second. 2018? That Florida State team?
2018, she got a big fat national championship ring sitting in the trophy case over here.
Goodness me. So, as you could probably imagine, massive OU softball fan. So, the Women's College World Series is just what we do here. So, no, that's awesome.
Yes. Yes.
So, y'all could just play. Yeah, y'all could just play.
Well, I look at athletics has always been a means to an end. That's what gets you to, get you to the school. But at the end, academics, and we always teach that don't think your sport is the one you're falling back on. You need to get your grades and academics first, and whatever you can do on the field is a bonus. And we've just been blessed. I tell you that for sure.
Well, I mean, I cut you off before you could answer the question. When did you know Danny could play?
So, like I said, I was always involved in the kid. I wasn't a daddy baller, but I always knew I got to be involved because there's nothing worse than seeing somebody coach or try to do something that doesn't know what they're doing. So I at least want to be involved. I always had everybody, coach, hey, if I had something to tell my son or my daughter, I let them tell them. I didn't scream at them or anything like that. But so I always coached Pop, not Pop Warner, but AAU football. And I'm like, man, the quarterback. I was leaning to the quarterback. I've had him in quarterback camps. The kid could throw. I mean, he was good. Man, he's a good quarterback. He's a great. That's the thing. You guys, he's an all-state receiver. He's a better. He's got more accolades as a receiver as he does, as a linebacker. That's what's.
Wow.
And he's always, had a knack. And I'm like, man, quarterback. And I'm like, dude. High school, you going to quarterback? He's like, no, Dad, I like to hit. I'm like, what? He goes, and on defense, we had him at at linebacker, and the kid would hit. I'm like, man, you just can't teach the instincts. And I said, look, man, if that's what you want to do, linebacker it is. But I tell you what, your team needs you. If your team needs you at quarterback or anywhere else, you got you need to do what you got to do. So, but yeah, it was probably around, say about 11 or 12 is when it really reared its head.
Well, I mean, I gotta I got to know, like, who you playing against. How do you know? Because the thing I need to underscore for many people, and I try to do it on this show, is Florida puts out more NFL draft picks than any other state in the union. They put out more blue chip prospects than any other state in the union. So if you can play there, it's not that you can play anywhere else, it's that you're probably better than most people. So, like, knowing what you're seeing, I guess it's a Pee-wee at 11, 12 years old. How are you able to contextualize that into projecting forward?
Well, you're right. I mean, in Florida, it's just you're able to, play year round, and you're able to travel and go against good competition all the time. Mm-hmm. And that also goes with with football, high school football. I mean, it's a little bit different than Oklahoma, Texas, and with the districting. There is no districts per se, and coaches get points on scheduling good teams and playoff teams. So you're always playing good competition. You don't really have to leave or go anywhere to feel like you have to, unless you're just really on a not very good team. Mm. But just going through the whole system, Pop Warner, AAU, there's opportunities to play at a high level all the time. And I was in town. We didn't really get opportunity to play until like junior high. We really didn't have. I was in a small town, so we really didn't have a Pop Warner or AAU system. So it gets kids exposed early. So
you grew up in Florida. Do I have that right?
No, I grew up in Texas, in Dangerfield.
Oh, what? I know where that is. I know where that is.
That's a powerhouse, man. I want to spend championship too there.
Golly. No, okay. Now I'm situated, right? now I'm situated.
Now you're connecting the dots. Now you see where the Texas is coming from.
Oh man, because I was just having this discussion with a friend of mine who's of a certain age, and we were talking about East Texas football, West Texas football, Houston Yates, yada yada yada, and Dangerfield came up. It's like a bunch of country kids come out here, knock your snot out of you, and leave, pick you up, then leave.
Yeah, we had some sweet teams back then, 83, 84, 85 for sure.
Okay, so now I got to ask, who's the best high school football player you played against and saw? Because you don't have to have played against somebody to know that they're good.
You know what? I played an all-star game, and there was a quarterback, and his name was, I think it might have been Justin Thomas, but he played defensive end. And, man, I tell you, I could tell that guy, and this guy's a quarterback. And I ended up playing against him at Texas A&M as he was a linebacker. And he was just phenomenal. I think he went on to the Jets, but he was just a great athlete. And it's like you said, it's like you alluded to earlier. He was a quarterback in high school. He was an athlete and just, all over. But he was a tremendous athlete.
Oh, man. No, I continue, I have this running game with myself of just naming great Texas high school football players until I go to sleep. Because I can literally do it. I mean, I'm serious. I could do it. And
but I can tell now. Your wealth of knowledge. I mean, I'm sure some people have forgotten. You've forgotten more names of players than people can remember. I guarantee you that.
Oh, I just love this stuff. I just love this stuff.
It's fun, man. It's absolutely fun.
Man, Steve, I didn't want to keep you for this long, but I do want to ask you.
Hey, I'm enjoying it, man.
Okay.
I really appreciate it, man.
Okay.
I wanted to, you know what I want to do? I wanted to come on and, I get on the forums and all that, and I just wanted you guys to know who Danny Stutsman was, what you're getting, and, how excited it is. I kind of heard on one of your podcasts how it's going to be hard to keep these out-of-state players. But I can tell you this, man, Danny is not going anywhere. He's, we're old school, man. Once we shake a hand, look somebody in the eye, we're in, and we're in for a few rings. That's what we're going for.
No, I know that's what we want to hear, but also, I'm gonna tell you, like I tell the kids, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for him. He wants to come play Oklahoma football. I'm gonna be all about it, and as it goes. Is as we go. I'm happy to see you guys coming through. I can't wait for this virus to get put in its place so that everybody can travel. And I hope to see you up around here. I mean, because have you taken a visit? Did you guys get to take a visit?
No, we have not. We were slated. Right before. So yeah. I will say this. I'm gonna tell you, man. You heard a little bit about, but the staff, Riley's staff, did an amazing job with their virtual virtual visit and tour. It was just amazing. It was awesome. I'll tell you that.
Oh, man. Well, that is Steve Stutsman, Baylor alumnus and father of Danny Stutsman and a Women's College World Series champ. Just doing it all over there at Stutsman family. Steve, thanks so much, man. This is fun.
Hey, RJ, I appreciate you having me on, and look forward to looking at following you guys and talking to you later in the future. Absolutely.
Right on.